Welcome back to Low Stress Math with Mrs. Bono. We are in the final review, which is a review of all units. So let's start with the final exam review, number 1, expressions and scientific notation. So what I did was on top here, I made a little chart to try and help you with remembering about expressions. So I have all of the rules on the left, actually the properties. So the property of the product rule, the quotient rule, the power rule part 2, the negative exponent rule part 2, and the zero exponent. So let's dive in and go over the rules relatively quickly and then do a few problems. All right, so up on top for the product rule, same base, add the exponents. The key here is, well, first of all, know that this is multiplication. Yeah, I can't spell multiplication. I spelled that wrong. It's okay, you still love me. But keep the base. You have the same base, you have to keep the base. And then, so the base here is a, the exponents are m and n. You keep the base a, you add the m plus the n. So over here, I'm multiplying x to the 5th power times x to the 3rd power. Now, they're right next to each other. That's how I know it's multiplication. There's no dot, there's no parentheses, but two variables next to each other means to multiply. So that's multiplication. Keep the base x, add 5 plus 3, get x to the 8th. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. First, I'm going to get that out from under there because it's not helping. Quotient rule, same base, subtract. Again, you have to keep the base. And this is division. So the base here is a. I'm going to subtract the top variable minus the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. In other words, numerator and denominator. So top minus bottom, m minus n. So here I have x to the 9th over x to the 5th. 9 minus 5, x to the 4th. Not so bad. Power rule, that's my favorite. That's when you have a base with an exponent raised to another exponent. So you just multiply the exponents. In other words, x to the 3rd, the whole thing to the 4th power. Multiply 3 times 4, you get x to the 12th. That's probably the easiest one there. The next one, though, is a little more intense. This is the distribution to each base. In other words, keep the bases, don't lose those, and you're going to give m to the a and m to the b. So you'd have a to the m and b. What did I write here? Ignore this. It's silly and it's bad and it's wrong, and I don't like myself when I do stupid things. Here we go. It's a to the m power and b to the m power. So that's better, right? Now I'm going to distribute this exponent to everything. So 4 squared and x to the 3rd to the 2nd power. 4 squared is 16. But then I multiply 3 times 2 and keep the x, multiply 3 times 2, you get 16x to the 6th. So you can barely see that. You're going to distribute even to the numbers. Negative exponents, you flip and change the sign. Reciprocate. Reciprocate means you put a 1 under it, and then when you flip it over, you get 1 over a to the m. So you flip it and you make the sign positive. So here I would have x to the negative 3rd. I have to put it over 1 because, you know, all numbers have a denominator of 1. Then when I flip it, I have 1 over x to the positive 3. But also, you can reverse that. This would really be, you flip it over, you get a to the m. But, you know, you would really have a to the m over 1. But then, you know, dividing by 1, it would just be a to the m. So the same thing is true here. Zero exponent. Anything to the 0 power except 0 is 1. 0 is an exception to a lot of things. So a to the 0 power is 1. Okay, this whole thing has parentheses, so this parentheses means something. So if it's in parentheses to the 0 power, it's 1. But what if there's no parentheses? What do you mean by that, old woman? I mean negative 4x to the 0 power. Then only the part that's to the 0 power would become 1. So that would be negative 4, and the x to the 0 power, that's the bit that becomes the 1. And negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. So that's what happens when there's no parentheses. Now, I want you to stop the video, and I want you to take a few minutes and try the problems on your own, and then turn the video back on to check your answers with me. Stop the video. I love you guys. Pause. All right. Welcome back. So we're going to go over all of the multiple choice problems. Which expression is equivalent to x to the negative 4th power? For that, I'm using this rule, the negative exponent rule. So I'm going to put it over 1 and then flip it over. So here we go. Put that over 1, flip it over, and make the exponent positive. So now I have 1 over x to the positive 4, and that is a. The next one, that's multiplication. But one of those is negative. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. So you keep the base 8, and you're going to add the exponents. Negative 4 plus 6. Again, keep that base 8. Negative 4 plus 6 is positive 2. The signs are different, so you subtract and keep the sign of the larger number. So 8 to the 2nd power. Letter C. All right, next page. Let's look at some more multiple choice. Don't guess. It's okay. Here we go. What is the expression 3 squared times 3 times 3 to the 4th power? Well, when there's no exponent, you put the number 1. So now I get to keep the base, and because it's the product rule, I'm going to add the exponents. 2 plus 1 plus 4. 2 plus 1 plus 4, 7. So I get 3 to the 7th power, which is C. Right, the next one, what is the value? Oh, we should highlight that. Value means you have to find the answer. So I'm going to find the value of 5 to the negative 2nd power. So, first of all, I'm going to put it over 1, boom, boom, and I'm going to flip it to get 1 over 5 squared. But value means solve it, so 5 squared is 25. I get 1/25, which is right here, B. What is the value of that? Oof. Lots to do here. Well, first of all, this is the quotient rule. So I am going to divide the numbers. And then I'm going to keep the base. And subtract the exponents. Okay, so let's start with dividing the numbers. 24 divided by negative 4. Keep the base x, subtract the exponent 0, See, I subtracted it in my head. I didn't even write it down. You got to show your work, Bono. You're going to get a low grade if you don't show all your work. 1 minus 1, because remember, when there's no exponent, the exponent is 1. Okay, keep the base y. 4 minus 2. 24 divided by negative 4. Divide the numbers to get 6. The signs are different, so it's negative 6. Keep the base x. 1 minus 1 is 0. Keep the base y. 4 minus 2 is 2. Cannot have that exponent to the 0 power there. So negative 6, and then x to the 0 power is 1. But only the x to the 0 power is 1, not the whole thing, because there's no parentheses. Then y squared. Okay, negative 6 times 1, negative 6. Y squared is y squared. Negative 6, y squared. Okay, for this one, I had to write the rules down again. First, multiply the numbers. You know, I keep saying numbers. I should actually use the correct terminology, shouldn't I? Multiply the coefficients. And remember that the coefficients are the numbers that you have in front of the variables. So negative 3 is a coefficient and 4 is a coefficient. So multiply the coefficients. This says divide the number. That should be coefficients also. All right, then keep the base. And subtract the exponents. All right, let's do that. Negative 3 times 4. Keep the base x and subtract the exponents. Sorry, multiply the exponents. Why are you subtracting exponents with bad Bono? Add the exponents because it's the product rule. So now, 2 plus 3. Okay, negative 3 times 4. Well, multiply first. 3 times 4 is 12. The signs are different, so it's negative 12. Keep the base x. 2 plus 3, 5. Negative 12, x to the 5th. Not too bad. This one, keep the base, add the exponents. So the base here is 4, and I'm going to add 2 plus 0 plus negative 1. 2 plus 0 is 2, minus 1 is 4 to the first power. Yeah, but you got to remember that if you have 4 to the first power, that's the same as 4. And on a multiple choice test, that's the only answer you're going to see. Oh gosh, golly. You know what that is, right? That's everybody's favorite. Time to pick up a calculator, because clear that memory and hit the mode button. Go down and over until it's flashing on scientific notation. Hit the enter button, clear it, and now exactly what you see is what goes in here. 1 2/10, and there's a button here that says times 10 to the n. See this button right here, times 10 to the n? I'm pushing that button because that is a scientific notation button. The exponent here is 3, so I type 3. Now, I'm still on the exponent. I don't want to mess my work up, so I have to get off of the exponent before I subtract 2 times 10 to the second power off the exponent minus 1 times 10 to the third power off that exponent, hit enter, and look at that weirdness I get. 0 times 10 to the 0 power. That's ugly, isn't it? But I can hit this double arrow key, and look, it tells me the answer is just 0. So all this mess goes in the calculator, and you come up with this silly 0 times 10 to the 0 power, but that's really equal to just 0, and that's the answer I want. Here we go. The next one, right up here. Keep the base, 2/3, add the exponents. Well, 2 plus, no exponent there, so I have to put a 1. And then. What is 6 to the 0 power? It's just 1. So then I divide by 1, and I get 2/3 to the third power. Not too bad, right? This one down here, do it in pieces. W, and you're adding 4 minus, W, 4 minus 0 because it's division, times Y, 5 minus 4 because it's division. You get W to the 4th power, Y, 5 minus 4 is 1. You know that that's not going to be an answer because you can't really write the 1. So you have W to the 4th, Y and an invisible 1 for the exponent. Okay, I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.